Hi punters, welcome to another edition of Tipster. Of course, this is the July edition where we're looking at who did the best stuff in June. And of course, none other than Michael Gannon is here beside me. How are you, Mick?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. It's wet here in Sydney, so, glad we're inside.
Yeah, back in the arc. It hasn't stopped raining for another week.
And
plenty of meetings called off, which has been quite disappointing over the last few weeks. But hopefully get some... was it El Nino? It can
like
rack
that.
right off and we get some dry weather in the spring.
Well, this is my view. Let's get it out of the way before spring, as you just said. So hopefully that all goes away and then we get ready for some nice, dry racing in spring. Make it a bit easier for the punters because God only knows it's a bit challenging for yours truly at the moment. That about your good self?
I had a really good June. There's the trumpet. But mate, I tell you what, steer clear in May and fair dinkum punters. It's that hard to be backing winners in heavy tracks. Anyway, we digress.
Let's get on with it. What are we going to do this episode? We're going to look at the tipsters of the month in June. Of course, the punters and the media and the overall leaderboard. Out of that lot and some that just missed out, we've got tips. Exclusive free tips. You won't get them anywhere else this early.
Love a free tip. How've they been going? They've been going all right?
Going really well. I mean, of course, the guys we get on and the guys and girls we get on are going well in the first place. So usually they're going pretty good. And
Informed punters with the early mail. That's what we're talking about.
And this week we've got a big name from Sky Racing, a big name from Betfair, and one of our pro punters on the site who finished top 5 as well.
Unreal.
Yeah, so you're going to get the free tip. Mick, of course, we've got the market here for the new market July Cup that's racing at the moment. Artorias 440 odd at the moment.
Great bet.
Yeah, okay.
They went down by a length in the Jubilee. All the experts out there giving great ride, bad ride. Who cares? Just back at 440. Take it. Get on.
Get on it like everyone got onto. Was it Nature's Stripe? Was it Nature's Stripe? They said in the call. But I tell you what, there was certainly a bit of money on that. And of course, just one last thing, punters, we want to mention before we get into the show. We hear all these people after spring say, "I told you that was going to be special, that thing." So we're asking you to come clean. Post the horse that you think is going to have a massive spring. Now, below, wherever you are, Facebook, Twitter, or of course on YouTube, tell us it, and we're going to check those comments back probably about mid to late November and see who got it right.
Dave, I'll open up the corporate card and sling something your way.
Yeah,
tell you what, mate, while we're there, you might as well go first.
It's a tough one. Look, I couldn't help but get impressed by Fireburn in the autumn.
Yep.
I mean, look, to almost get the sort of triple crown, as we call it, the slipper and the size and so forth. So, I just looking forward to see what she's going to do for myself. Yeah, how about yourself?
Mate, it's such a tough one, isn't it? There's a couple that I like the look of. I think Nature Strip, heard of it? He'll win the Everest.
Stripe, right?
Yeah, Nature Strip, win the Everest, Stripe Strip, it'll be winning. And State of Rest, I think, comes back and wins a Cox Plate as well. Yeah. So, for two future players there, there's a couple that I like.
Yeah, there we go. So how about you, punters? Tell us, just pop the name down below and look, whoever, we're going to be checking those, and whoever gets it really right will have a special prize to be mentioned.
We'll get you on the show.
Get you on the show. Absolutely. We'll do all sorts of these. We'll make a big deal out of you. So let's see how good you are predicting them. Without any further ado, let's get on with the show, Mick.
Let's do it. Welcome back, punters. You are watching Tipster, and we're about to crunch the numbers and look at tips of the month for the month of June.
Month of June.
How good. Gee, I'll tell you what, there's a couple of pretty seasoned veterans up there, mate.
A couple of themes there, hey? I'm just seeing Pro and Sky Racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there we go. The team over there at French's Forest, or actually in this case, probably over in in Queensland.
Absolutely. Where's the local area down at Queensland? Somewhere in Brisbane?
I don't know. I actually don't know. That's a tough question. Probably on a beach somewhere, mate. Anyway, we digress.
Back to it, mate. On top there, how about that? Christopher Winter.
Yeah, Chris Winter. So I remember, so look, let's just talk about these stats first, right? $14.64 is the average price there, striking at 18%. And got the old pro symbol there. Mick, when I saw Chris towards the leaderboard, the top of the leaderboard, remembered a interview you had with the Salts.
Yep.
And I remember you asking the Salts a question, who do you rate as your top tizzy? You mentioned blokes like Dean Lester, no surprise, and a few, but it mentioned Chris Winner.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
hey, no surprise to see him up there with the pro symbol.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. And Jazz 60 actually is a she. Now wants to keep anonymous there. Yeah, so there we go. I can tell you that her first name is the same first letter as her alias. There we go. That doesn't give too much
Well
away.
done.
Look,
Slip the stuff. Yes.
$98 winner in there, but obviously got
Wow.
the pro symbol. That doesn't get you a pro symbol
Yeah.
alone. 10 winners in the month, so by no means just a lucky throw at the stumps.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
Yeah, very good.
Tell you what,
indeed.
mate, is that Matty John's brother there?
Joey
7?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. No, it's not.
No,
it's not. Interesting strategy for Joey 7.
7.
Likes looking at strike rates, punters trainers and jockeys at tracks.
Love it.
So
The
looks
old
at that
combos.
combo at a track level.
Yeah.
Is it working?
My word, it is.
Doing okay. $11.16 average price, 97% profit on turnover, or pot as we like to call it.
Yep.
So yeah, you're doing pretty good if you're doing those stats with starting prices.
Unbelievable. And I tell you what, in the theme down below, a bit of Queensland form analysts.
Yeah.
Obviously, easy to pick a winner in June. Chris
Yeah.
does a lot of work in Brisbane, Queensland as well.
He
so
does
there we go.
too. He
Maybe it
does.
was just easy to find a winner up there.
I don't know. I certainly can't talk to that. But
Couldn't
hey,
find a winner for the life of me. up there.
Bernie Cooper certainly did a lot of that. 14 winners out of 25 at
Outstanding.
Doomben over June. That's just
Up
a
you go,
Doomben. So
Bernie.
you're doing okay.
Geez,
there,
there'd be some
Bernie.
happy punters.
Absolutely.
She's got a big following, Bernie.
She does, but
Massive
she's
following.
all bubbles and great on TVs, and she's
I'm sure she's the same off camera as well, mate. No doubt. She's
Well,
probably
I was at a function
Like
once where
who,
she
mate?
was, but I didn't have a chat to her, so can't talk to that. But I imagine she is a great fan of the punters.
And Maxi.
Maxi. So
Yeah.
we interviewed Maxi. I think it was 2016, and if you Google the great tip-off Michael Maxworthy, you'll find that interview really worth the read, because anyone wants to knock these media tipsters and say they're just throwing darts. They're
Yeah.
kidding. Listen to how this bloke goes about it. He certainly knows his stuff, and no surprise. And look, Maxi's low flying. Like he's always amongst the winners. This bloke knows his stuff, and well worth following.
I love it,
Yeah,
mate.
absolutely. Okay, punter, so now we are looking at the media top 5. So remember, every media tipster that you can think of puts their tips in the public domain. They're going to be at thegreattipoff.com with stats since 2009.
How many we got, mate? About 1,000?
Oh, look, there's thousands of punters and tipsters. I know that much.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the breakup? You got me at this second.
Let's throw it out there for media. For these top 5 here, they've probably competed with at least, I'm going to go ballpark, 500 to 1,000 media tipsters. What do you reckon? Close?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Close?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bloody huge effort.
There's a huge effort here if you're at the top of the tree, no doubt about that. We've spoken to Bernie and Maxi. So, hey, Rick Morris, you know that bloke?
What a man.
Yeah,
I
Rick.
love Rick.
He's a good bloke.
He's a legend.
He goes well, knows his stuff. I mean, he does content on the site.
Yep.
We've been in his company a couple of times and really knows his stuff. So certainly
Certainly
someone
does.
to follow on the site.
Absolutely no surprise. I tell you what, Rick goes in runs as well. You watch, he'll kick off this. I expect to see him here. Here's my prediction, punters. I expect to see Rick here in July.
So instead of making a spring prediction as far as horseflesh goes, you're making a prediction.
A Rick
as far
prediction.
as-
I reckon he'll even show up at least twice before the end of the year.
There we go. All right, you heard it from Mick Gannon himself.
Yeah.
Moving on, of course, hey, here's a face we have seen in this winner circle before as well, Priscilla
Absolutely.
Looker.
Yeah. Good to have her back.
Yeah, she's very good on the country circuit in New South Wales. I just did a bit more digging around, Mick. Here's some interesting stats. So, obviously had a great June here, but Priscilla is 18% profit on turnover for the last 90 days off 124 tips. Remember, this is starting price. So if Priscilla puts the tips out there, she's got the followers, so she's, starting. It's not going to often start at the best price. And get this, profitable over the past 365 days.
I'm not shocked by that, mate. We did an interview with her not so long ago, and
absolutely.
she's fantastic. Obviously, ex-jockey, knows exactly what she's talking about. Does all her study, does a form, and even gives Ben the old tip, how to ride a winner or two as well. So there you go, Ben. Just
there we
this
go.
is how you should ride it, and off away we go.
Yeah, so interesting chats at the dinner time. I think she mentioned that in the interview, actually. And of course, our mate Munsey, he's been popping up a bit lately. Talking about runs, I think it was the month before last he popped up, and here he is again.
Just a stayer, Munsey. Just keeps slogging away.
He keeps going.
I didn't get a chance. Sorry, on Rose Hill the other day, just chiming in, Muns. If you're watching, fair income, mate. I saw you roll in. I was about 100 metres away from you. I couldn't miss you. You had the R9 umbrella. Mate, just hit me up, brother. I'll send you a new Titleist umbrella. You need an upgrade, son. Just hit me up.
Just before we let that go too, because I checked Munsey and not last 90 days, last quarter, 16% pot. Here's another bloke whose tips are everywhere.
He's good.
So he's got a lot of followers, but still starting price, using starting price, you get 16%.
What's that average price? $7.
$7. Oh, Munsey's doing something. He's not going as good as his. He's going better than his rugby league team, isn't he?
Latrell's back. Watch out.
Yeah, I watched them play the Dragons the other week too. But anyhow, punters, there we have it. There's the top 5 media for June of 2022.
Here we are, punters. The time of the show that you've all been waiting for, Damo included. A couple of free tips, a couple of best bets from those in the know, those who have been flying.
And of course, the first to start with is Maxi. We saw how good he's going. So let's get his exclusive free tip for this weekend's racing.
Hello everybody, I'm Michael Maxworthy. I work for Sky Racing here in Brisbane as a form analyst, and today I'm in the studios of Radio Tab in Brisbane. Talking a little bit about doing the form. We've all got our different theories, but the funny part about it is you put all of the time and effort into it, and if a horse happens to jump away poorly, misses the kick, then speed maps and everything goes out the window. But I think you've got to have a plan to try and find winners, and speed maps are certainly one of them. Trying to predict where horses are going to settle a couple of 100 metres after the start. And another theory that I like to look at when trying to find a few winners here and there is horses dropping back significantly in grade. And I'm going to put that theory to the test at Doomben Races in Brisbane on Saturday. We are going to be on a rain-affected track. But I do like horses that are dropping back in grade, the likes of Alpine Edge, who's just in a perfect race to return to the winner's circle, and Charm Me Baby's coming off a really good performance in the Group 1 Tats Tiara a few weeks ago. She's dropping back to Group 3 level, so let's see how that theory goes. Good putting over the weekend.
And here's another one, Lachlan Mosley. So Lachlan Mosley didn't make the top 5, just out of it from Betfair. Actually acknowledges the help of Zach Trussell, who's a very fine tipster on the greattipoff.com.
Certainly is.
And he's going to give us a very early best bet for the weekend.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on the show today. Just briefly, I'm Lachlan Mosley, working for Winning Edge Investments. I run a paid service down at winningedgeinvestments.com, so feel free to check that out. Been doing that for about 5 or 6 years now. Also, in the past sort of 12 months, 9 to 12 months, I've been working for Betfair, for the Betfair Hub, just providing some content for South Australian racing. So you can go there, check that out. They have free staking plans and stuff, and no bet races and which races we need to attack, and just general content for South Australian racing. So head on there. There'll be something probably posted on Friday afternoon, so you can check that out. But we'll just quickly crack into a race that we're going to look at Gawler. It's coming up in the last, so we're going to have to wait all day for it, but I think it'll be worth the wait. It's Ryan Balfour's horse, and it is called Kong. It is, oh God, what is it? Race 9, number 7. So race 9, number 7, Kong. Now, this horse hasn't had any luck its past 2 starts. First up, it was just got a little bit too wide on the track. The apprentice sort of had a little bit of a tough time with it, so that can be paid to forgive. And then last, it just got lost. It was 3 wide the trip, and it still sort of had the audacity to fight out the finish, so it was a brilliant effort. It likes soft tracks, which Gawler at the moment is a soft 7, and generally later on in the day, they tend to fan away from the fence because it's really, really choppy and stuff. So don't be deterred by barrier 14. We're going to get around 7, 8 to 1. So generally when they are this price, I like to back them like the 1 unit times 2 units for the place. I think it's a very profitable way to end the day there. So yeah, that's our best bet for the day, best each way bet, I should say. And if you want to back something at a shorter price during the day, probably look at race 4, a horse for Jake Stevens called En Francais. Hasn't had any luck. It's passed 2 from bad barriers. Draws barrier 1. It's a good horse. It's ready to win. Thanks for having me, guys.
And of course, we heard about it before, Mick. Joey likes the 7. Likes the pairing of the trainer with the jockey at the tracks, doing all those stats for you. Easy way to get on is just follow him. Here's his early tip for this weekend.
G'day tipsters, Joey here. On the great tip off, you'll find me under Joey 7. Now I've got a tip at Cowra on Saturday, race 5, listed as number 25 at the moment. Burawa Girl, trained by Paul Theobald. Comes back in distance about 950. Hopefully she just jumps, finds a front and wins. And as long as the track's not too boggy, we should go okay. Now, the way I do my form, I usually pick the track, usually a provincial track, try and stay away from maiden races if possible. Find the best trainer with the best strike rate and a return of investment in the positive. And the jockey who matches best with that trainer, also in a positive. And make sure that they've actually ridden at the track. Not all jockey trainers combinations work. I've found something that works for me, and so far it seems to be working well. So I'm going to stick with that for this month. We'll see how we go, and hopefully they all get up and we both have winning days. Thanks very much. See you later.
And so wraps up another episode of Tipster Mick. Just before we go to Mick's Moral, just want to remind punters to post your prediction of the spring champion for 2022. Post it down here, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are. Tell us who you think. We want to see who can predict the spring champion. We don't want to hear about it at the end of spring like every other time. We want it. And look, you can even show it in the pub afterwards, right? We'll give you special footage. You go to the pub and say, I told you that bloody horse is going to be a champion. Sure you did. Here it is. I actually said it on a show. So here's your chance. Don't hesitate. Just type down who you think the spring champion or who's going to have a great spring. And we'll see what happens. So over to Mick with his moral.
Yeah, we're going to go to Rosehill. Rosehill? Randwick.
Rosehill was last week.
Rosehill, we had half a meeting last week. This week, hopefully, we get a full meeting at Randwick. Perhaps we will, perhaps we won't. But if we do get a full meeting, we will make it to pretty close to race 8. Oscar Zulu around the $9 at the moment. Made up a fair bit of ground on Taxu and does meet it better at the weights this time round. Taxi is around the $3-4 mark, but I'd much rather take the $8, $9 available. Oscar Zulu has drawn wide. Huey's on board. I think by that time of the day, get the outside fence. 9-metre rail. Fair dinkum. They're coming out of the car park.
Yeah, there we
could
go.
Could be the bet of the month. There you go.
What race in the program is it?
8.
8. Okay, you certainly know what's going on by then anyhow.
Absolutely.
So you won't be able to change it.
And for you, mate, you just had more seconds than a clock the other day. So
yeah, I got no tip for you, mate.
You need to just back that each way.
Yeah, thanks.
Save us all the pain. Make sure it wins.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate the betting advice. Punting advice from Mick Gannon. Thank you. Punters, we will see you again next week. Hey, look out. There's Mick. Well, we were talking before the show about some great things planned coming up this, actually it'll be before spring, for viewers of the All In program. So look out for that. Best way to know when it comes, as with this show.
Mate, subscribe.
Subscribe
on YouTube. Hit that little bell up the top and away you go.
Hit the little bell. Look out on the side. Look out on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter because we post a little summary there and you'll know when things hit. Whatever, get involved, post what you think, tell us what you want to see. We've got lots of things planned. So look, hey, if you've got some thoughts, let us know. Till then, Mick.
Mate, till next month.
Good punting.
Absolutely.
Signing off.